So now it's 2:05. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So we're going to kick off the International Cooperation and Development on Marine Economy 2020. I'm very pleased to meet you. Interested by the organizing committee, I will be the moderator. You can see my name is Xu Yue, and I'm the former CGTN host. I have also covered the event in Qingdao Naval Festival, and I also reported many significant events happening in China. And I also experienced the important events related to the marine economic activities. So Marine Economic Exposition is a very important platform to showcase our achievement in this sector. It is also a very important platform for us to share the achievement. And the last year's event also won the recognition from across the world. And today, we also have a different background. I'm sure you all know that. We have just marked the 40th anniversary of the establishment of Special Economic Zone. And the leaders also paid a visit here, which showcase the importance of Shenzhen. And today, we would like to define marine economy and its development potential. I'm sure you have your insights. So as for a macro platform for us to have the discussion about the cooperation and development, today we also have invited more than 60 country speakers to join us. And we are going to discuss how we can develop marine economy in the post-pandemic era. We would like to explore the opportunities for us to have cooperation and tap the potential of blue economy and overcome the bottleneck in this sector. We would like to get insights from the speakers and discuss with the speakers to see how we can proceed in this sector. Now let's have a watch of this short video.
庞大而丰富的资源，并拥有着推动经济增长、就业和创新的巨大潜力。经合组织的2030年海洋经济展望报告预测，未来10年海洋产业的诸多领域发展速度将超过全球经济增长。蓝色产业对世界经济的增加值将翻番，达到3.2万亿美元。世界各国纷纷。
You can see that many countries are adopting the plans to boost the blue economy and also centering on the exploration of the resources of our oceans. We have established a lot of strategies and try to have the win-win cooperation with countries across the world. China, as the active player in the blue economy, we also try to continue to take the lead in this sector and build a shared future so that we can share the benefits from the oceans. We would like to adopt a sustainable development mode to tap the potential of our oceans. Shenzhen, an engine in the Greater Bay Area, is speeding up its innovation to boost the development of blue economy. In order to boost the high-quality marine economic development and boost the international cooperation, the International Cooperation and Development on Marine Economy 2020 is hosted in these 2 days on October 15th to 16th. And this forum will serve as a very good forum for us to focus on the discussion about how to tap the potential of oceans and carry out the international cooperation to boost the marine blue economy so that we can tap the potential and overcome the difficulties that we have been impacted from COVID-19. We would like to strengthen the cooperation in this sector. This sector will be empowered by new technologies. I'm sure in Shenzhen or even Greater Bay Area, we will meet more opportunities. We can have the platform for more exchanges. I'm sure this platform will be very important to the further development of this sector. and we can outline the new vision for blue economy in the future. International Cooperation and Development Forum on Marine Economy 2020 will focus on how we can build a strong blue economy in the post-pandemic era. So you can see we have the vision to tap the potential of blue economy. Now I would like to invite a very important figure to share his view with us. Now, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Xu Shuming, the Deputy Secretary General of Shenzhen Government. Let's welcome. Respected leaders, guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, good afternoon. So we gathered here in Shenzhen in October. This is a remarkable moment because yesterday we had the celebration about the establishment of Shenzhen Special Economic Zone. General Secretary Xi Jinping joined us in the conference and shared what we have achieved in the past 4 decades. And he also showed us his expectation of Shenzhen. So now we are bearing new missions and open a new chapter. I feel very happy together with you to discuss how we can tap the potential of oceans. Hereby, on behalf of Shenzhen Municipal Government, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the friends. And I would also like to thank all the friends who have been supporting Shenzhen's reform and opening up. Thank you very much for your strong support. Shenzhen is connected to the sea. In the past 4 decades, we have seen the vicissitudes of Shenzhen. It has developed itself from a small fishing village to a vibrant, beautiful international city, which is also very innovative. It has a population of more than 20 million, and the economic size exceeds 20 trillion yuan, and it also tops 30 cities in China. We can see it has created an economic miracle. It has become the engine for the Greater Bay Area, and it also become the hub of the Maritime Silk Road. In recent years, Shenzhen also grasped the opportunities of its position as part of the Greater Bay Area as well as the pilot trade zone. It also speeded up its efforts to build itself into global marine economy. And moreover, last year, its economic output in ocean registered 260 billion yuan. Moreover, it also have a cluster of prominent ocean-related industries such as CONCC and pharmaceutical and also new emerging industries also made its base in Shenzhen. For example, the Blue Whale First, the Blue Whale 2, as well as the Blue Economy platform has also made its base in Shenzhen. The unmanned aerial vehicle remote sensing and the DNA sequencer also made its presence in Shenzhen. We can see that all these will serve as a very good platform to boost Shenzhen's development into a global marine center, which will become a new growth point for Shenzhen. Biomedicine and the exploration of the ocean resources will also become the emerging industries in Shenzhen. The port, shipping, cooperation will also help to increase the competitiveness of Shenzhen. And the technology will also empower Shenzhen. And the establishment of the labs and the technology platform will also help to boost the innovation of Shenzhen. And these technologies will empower Shenzhen in the R&D as well as the translation of the research results. It can also build the world-class innovative engine for Shenzhen in the ecological protection area, as well as the development will also be integrated to focus on the high-level green marine economy development. We can also build a green coastal city so that we can have a seamless connection between the sea and the land. We will also continue to focus on the ocean management and build a holistic system.
We include different management mechanisms and strengthen the infrastructure and improve the legality and legal regulation systems. And also, in terms of global marine governance, we organize a lot of high-profile events. And also, the International Marine Organization also has its branch in Shenzhen. We have adopted some measures to promote fisheries and ocean-going business and also contribute to the 21st century maritime civil. We contribute to the international rules and regulations standardization. So ocean can be a way, a bridge for us to boost the blue economy and blue growth, and this is our consensus. Shenzhen is going to embrace different opportunities to deepen collaboration and exchanges. We want to join hands to promoting the ocean economy to achieve sustainable developments in the ocean economy. We look forward to your insights. We look forward to collaborate with you. We hope that we can have more collaboration in this area and create a better future in this industry. Lastly, I would like to wish this event a complete success.
waste into rivers and ultimately oceans. And third, this blue recovery needs to take into account, anticipate, and adapt to the impacts of climate change on oceans and on the most important oceanic sectors, including fisheries. Finally, the World Bank is very much looking forward to the many opportunities for future collaboration with China. The World Bank has played a leading role in promoting the implementation of the Blue Economy Sustainable Financing Principles, which call for ocean development to be based on sustainability and integration. We hope to welcome China as a full partner in this process. Together, we need to look at oceans as a key driver of economic development, a steady source of food, nutrition, and jobs. We must also recognize that these services depend on healthy oceans, and oceanic development cannot come at the cost of their destruction. By working together across all oceanic sectors, fisheries, coastal tourism, solid waste management, shipping and ports, and marine renewable energy, we can and must ensure that this development remains integrated and sustainable. I wish you an excellent forum.
这是世界银行的 Karen Camper 女士，应该说是代表这样联合国的多边组织给我们发了一个贺信，也提出了很多的要求。其实她的发言当中有很多忧患意识。那到底我们如何来看待令我们乐观的前景，还有这个忧患的意识？接下来呢，我们的一个环节是一个论坛。这个论坛呢，我将邀请下面几位嘉宾。可能有2位嘉宾还在来的路上，一位是自然资源部海洋战略规划与经济司的司长王斌，世界海洋理事会主席兼首席执行官保罗·霍尔萨斯，道达尔集团的中国主席是赵伟良，克劳德·萨马加是战略咨询公司的董事长，这是
Claudia Smartia, Chairman from Smartia Strategic Advisory, from CIMC Strategic Director Mr. Gao Shang. I would like to invite these panelists to come onto the stage to attend our panel.
In this panel discussion about building a stronger blue economy in the post-COVID-19 era. 有请几位嘉宾上场，还有几位在来的路上。
A few more panelists are still on the way. So each panelist will have 10 minutes. And later on, we are going to have a Q&A session. Okay. Stop the music, please. In this panel session, we are going to talk about some topics. The topics are about how to build a blue economy. First of all, I would like to invite
Mr. Claude Samaja. He's a chairman of the Samaja and Samaja Advisory Board and Company. Would you give us an opening presentation and your understanding about the theme of this conference? Thank you.
some feedback or noise.
Thank you very much for your introduction. And Thank you very much for your introduction, and thank you very much for accepting to be the moderator of this first part of the second forum on the marine economy. I would like to mention a few points which I think are very important, and I think we have, okay, which I think are very important and in a way which have been at the basis of what we have been trying to do in creating the program for this forum. In a way, what are the key factors that China will need to push to really achieve its goal for the marine economy 2030? And we know that these goals are very ambitious, that the idea is to double the share of the marine economy sector in the country's GDP. So where should the effort be? And let me provide, as a foreign observer, as a foreign analyst, some remarks. I think, number one, there will be the need to push much more the technology and scientific research in the domain of marine economy. We know that in the coming years, the whole sector of the marine economy will have to be technology-driven. It will have to be, in almost every aspect of activity, digitized, decarbonized, and using to the maximum extent artificial intelligence and also IoT and all the resources of big data. So this is one very important point. And in that respect, what will be important is not only to push and accelerate research and development in science and technology, but also to push in the domain of basic research, which will be very important in the future. Point number two, I think it is very important that China, which is already very active in the domain of international cooperation, push even more its role in its domain. Because, as Mrs. Karen Camper said, in the future, multilateralism and integration will be absolutely crucial to ensure a sustainable development of this sector. And in that respect, the question will be, where are the domains where some additional initiatives from China will bring greater influence and greater progress in ensuring sustainable development? And in that respect, it could be on issues like ocean governance and also in issues on environment sustainability issues. Point number three, we know, as I mentioned before, that more and more marine activities will be technology-driven. And so it will be a priority to develop even more than today the skills needed to sustain this process of higher and higher leveraging of technological capabilities. We know already that there is a tremendous effort in China to build academic resources, research resources, skills resources in the domain of the marine economy, whether it is with respect to offshore exploration, whether it is with respect to deep seabed mining, whether it is with respect to fisheries, whether it is with respect to blue biotech. But the skills will be needed much more even in the future. And I think from an academic education standpoint, these kind of academic centers to create the skill necessary will have to play an even bigger role. And in that respect, I think Shenzhen is already becoming a very important platform for skills creation in the marine economy, in addition to existing platforms which are already producing quite a number of skills. Let me go to the point number 4. At the moment, in many activities of the marine economy, it is state-owned enterprises, big state-owned enterprises, which are involved. And they are producing very good results. But a greater involvement of foreign companies, a greater involvement of private companies will be very important, because in a way they will create the additional technological capabilities, they will create the additional jobs that will be needed to absorb the workforce, and they will create an additional propitious environment for the development not only of business activities, but of knowledge and technological capability. Point number 5. I would like to mention the importance to, in a way, promote the development of startups, of new companies, of young entrepreneurs in the domain of marine economy. There are already a number of startups which are involved in this domain, and especially in a city like Shenzhen, just to take one example, but also, for instance, in Shanghai. But we know how much startup companies with dynamic young entrepreneurs are able to contribute to reshape the business, technological, entrepreneurial landscape for this sector. And so, in that respect, China, which has been so successful in creating an incredible hub of entrepreneurship and startups in the high-tech domain, need also to promote the entrepreneurship and startup development much more in the marine economy sector. Last but not least, if you allow me, Mr. Moderator, last but not least, the importance of the Maritime Silk Road. This is, of course, a very crucial project of China, which has been started 7 years ago and which will continue to develop. But for the Maritime Silk Road to promote the kind of benefits that it can provide in the future for China and for partners countries, I think in the coming period, China will have to explore how to make the partnership with countries involved in the Maritime Silk Road much more of a win-win process. I think this will be very important, especially in the post-COVID era, where every country will be looking at ways to promote the kind of cooperation that will ensure a quick and solid restart of economic activities and boosting economic growth to recover from the damage, the economic damage created by the pandemic. And so, Mr. Moderator, I would like to stop here in these remarks. Thank you very much.
谢谢萨马加先生。
Thank you to Mr. Somaja just now. He has shared with us from the international perspective about the expectation of Shenzhen and the development as well as the potential of Shenzhen in the post-pandemic era. So thank you very much for your suggestion. And next, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Wang Bing, Director General of the Department of Marine Strategy, Planning and Economy of Ministry of Natural Resources and People's Republic of China. Now, I hope you can also respond to the question that apart from the fishery, what other areas may also have great potential to be tapped?
好的，谢谢主持人。 首先还是非常高兴啊，能有机会在中国海洋经济博览会主办之际啊，参加我们这次国际海洋经济合作发展论坛，和在座的女士们、先生们、朋友们一起交流一些中国海洋经济发展的情况。就在1年前的今天啊，中国国家主席习近平在致2019年中国海洋经济博览会的贺信中明确指出啊，海洋对人类社会生存和发展
It's very vital to all of us. We know that ocean have become the foundation for human beings' progress. So high-quality development of ocean is very important. So as for the government, we also actively promote the development of oceans. And the moderator also mentioned that ocean actually covers a long supply chain and value chain. I would like to take this opportunity to review what we have achieved in this year, the achievement in the macro perspective. First of all, we can see that in the past 4 to 5 years, maybe the 13 5-year plan since 2016, our strength in the marine economy has increased by 6.7%. And we can see that $1.3 trillion has been achieved in last year's output, accounting for 9% of China's GDP. So we can see that it has become an important part of China's economy. And we can also see that the economic pattern has also been upgraded and improved. In the economic zone in the south and north as well as the east also has been increased respectively. Compared with the output value in 2015, it has increased by more than 40%. For Shenzhen, including Shanghai, we can also see these two cities have been developing themselves into the global marine center. Just now, moderator also asked me to mention the ocean structure. Actually, we are working on the improvement of this structure. For example, in terms of the fishery structure, the proportion has also been adjusted from 41 to 59% to 33% in 2019. If you understand the development of fishery sector, you can see that it has been significant in the marine economy. Through the aquaculture, we can also avoid overfishing. So in only 5 years, we have reduced the proportion of fishing from the oceans. And aquaculture has become the very important channel for us to avoid overfishing. So we have improved the proportion of fishing in the marine economy. On the one hand, we have protected the species and the resources in the oceans. So this is the achievement that I would like to applaud. And China is ramping up on agriculture development. Actually, we have produced the fishery products from agricultural model. And the proportion is much bigger than those we have got from the ocean directly. And we also improve our capabilities to build the equipment. And also the desalination effort has also been strengthened. Compared with the output in 2015, we have an increase of 78%. And as for the wind farm development, we also upgrade the capacity. In 2019, the accumulated capacity increased fourfold in only 5 years' time. So we have ramped up our efforts in the development of renewable energy. For example, the tanker also contribute a lot to the tourism development. And now, compared with the traditional tourism industry, we also increase the elements of leisure and recreation. Moreover, we also pay attention to the innovation in boosting the marine economy. For example, the oil rig, the Well 1, has also been introduced. You can see a lot of the new models in the expo. I'm not sure whether you paid a visit to this exposition this morning. And we also have the solely developed biomedicine. And it also made the breakthrough. This is the newly developed medicine in the past 14 years in the market. And we'll also expand our cooperation with other countries. We open up further this sector. We can see a higher output value in this sector. As for the government agency, we spare no effort in boosting the development of this sector. Every 5 years, we adopt the new guideline for us to develop the ocean. For example, we had the 13th five-year plan to guide us to tap the potential of the oceans previously, including we supported 14 pilot zones for the development of oceans. We also have the regulators and the banks to help us, to support us. We improve the financial environment for the blue economy. This is the achievement that we have scored. In the meantime, we should also understand that now the blue economy is also confronting new situations and challenges as well as risks, opportunities and challenges. First of all, we can embrace a lot of opportunities and we can see the hopes globally. We can see peace and development remain the theme. And the global governance is also changing rapidly. China is ready to show the more responsibility and ready to work with other countries and regions to build the partnership to develop blue economy. We also expand our cooperation in developing maritime Silk Road. We also reached a consensus to develop ocean as a new growth point for our economy. And globally, we can also see the new emerging technologies which will empower the marine economy so that we will have more space to explore the ocean. Moreover, we also see the challenges against the backdrop of COVID-19. The unilateralism as well as protectionism are on the rise, and the supply chain was disrupted. Therefore, we are now facing new changes and the situation with a lot of uncertainties. So we are facing new challenges. Globally, across the world, we may experience some destructions by climate change. We also feel the impact from climate change. We can see the requirement for innovation is high for ocean economy, and the risk for investment is also high. Therefore, economies have been exposed to a lot of challenges and risks. We wonder how we can further boost the blue economy development. First of all, we must stick to our guideline for the blue economy development. We need to diversify our approaches. First of all, we should give the full play to the market forces. In the meantime, we also follow the guideline of the government. We should give the full play to the functions of the government. Therefore, the guideline will show us how we can move on with the right direction. In particular, we should also boost the economic development in the Greater Bay Area.
We want to build modern marine cities and also promote industry synergies and collaboration. We will promote the marine financial sector as well. We want to have national marine development funding as well. and we want to attract different sources of capital to promote the blue development. Also, the MC asked question about the structure of the ocean economy. I think we need to focus on innovation and accelerate the establishment of modern marine economy. And we also need to do more R&D on some key technologies and key marine equipment. So we want to improve the efficiency in traditional and emerging industries as well. And marine water desalination, and these are the industries we want to accelerate. Some of the industries we want to accelerate. In some coastal cities, we want to further promote the desalination in those cities. For ocean energy, we want to build more wave energy power generation plants that are capable of 100-watt-hour capacity. And also in terms of marine information, we will further do research to and also use 5G technologies, IoT technologies, and AI technology in the marine sectors so that we can improve the overall innovation capabilities in the marine system. We want to make the marine system more modern. We also need to coordinate different regions. And in China, we have strategic economic circles or rings such as free trade ports. We will further narrow the gap between east and west, and north and south. We have different bay areas in China. We will further promote the marine economies in the bay areas in China. We want to have coordinated marine system. We also need to improve our international competitiveness. We also focus on green concept and green development. Coordination is important, and we also do master planning for marine development and marine economy. We also have stringent management on the ocean space usage. And we also have initiatives to restore marine ecology. So we also need to strike a balance between the development of land and the ocean. We have different industries such as aquaculture and wind energy and other kind of ocean energies. We want to strike a balance among different sectors. Furthermore, we want to expand opening and collaboration with international partners in the ocean economy. We want to create an enabling business environment to attract more foreign investors to come to China to invest. In the morning, we paid a visit to the booth and also of the Marine Expo, and there was some introduction about the industry parks in China. We hope that we can attract some investors to those industry parks, and we hope to generate more opportunities for the blue economy. Also, taking advantage of the One Belt One Road initiative in China, we will provide some assistance to some important initiatives. We will continue to organize MEE Marine Energy Expo so that we can build a platform, a bridge for international players so that we can create a win-win situation for all parties involved. Ladies and gentlemen, against the backdrop of COVID-19, the marine economy is still resilient and promising. We will continue to promote international collaboration. We hope to deepen trust and collaboration with our international partners. We will join hands in handling challenges, and we will also co-develop the ocean economy. So you talked about the blue ocean community of shared destiny. Next, we would like to welcome the chairman from the World Ocean Council, Paul Holthus, to say a few words.
to a degree, can the blue economy contribute to our economic growth and the creation of wealth? And particularly, how shall we, using blue economy as the driving force to facilitate our innovation in the post-COVID period, and so that the current level of blue economy contribution could be promoted from 9.5% to 15% by the year 2030. I'd like to have your comments. 10 minutes, thank you.
Thank you. And can I really first express my honor at being able to be participating here in the International Cooperation and Development Forum on the Marine Economy again this year. I remember very fondly the opportunity we had to be all together there last year, and I am sorry I'm not able to be there in person this year, but very grateful for the opportunity to be speaking with you via virtual connection this year. The program is impressive, and the scope of what needs to be addressed by considering the blue economy, the marine economy, and the need to address the challenges that have come upon us all through COVID-19 really create an importance and an urgency to tackling the challenges and addressing the future of the marine economy. And to really focus on the theme of this session and the questions that have just been posed by the moderator, first, let me really reiterate this overall theme of cooperation and development, which is the overall context for the forum, and also reiterate some of the points that have come up already regarding multilateralism and integration, to really encourage us all to think about the marine economy as a global marine ecosystem, a global business ecosystem, a global investment ecosystem. And so to really approach the challenges and the future of the marine economy with that global context in mind. And with that, though said, the focus here at the moment and the question about the growth of the marine economy in China, I really believe there is an opportunity for and a trajectory for China to continue being a global leader in marine economic development. But with that leadership then comes opportunities and responsibilities to help shape the future of the marine economy with not only the current challenges related to COVID-19 in mind, but also the long-standing and complex challenges of sustainable development, of addressing climate change, and the overall context of achieving a sustainable use of marine and coastal resources and ecosystems that contribute to responsible economic growth and development. So that leadership in this global marine economic ecosystem, this leadership that China is exhibiting already and has been building for many decades now, really can be advanced in several ways, not only in the economic sphere, but also in the environment, social, and governance sphere. So as the investment community refers to as ESG, environment, social, and governance. And so that an evolution of the marine economy leadership of China to be also providing leadership and advancing progress in environment, social, and governance aspects of the marine economy is the fundamental message I'd like to convey here. And I think this will create opportunities for China, for the Chinese marine economy, and for the various sectors involved. And if we think about the sectors in which China has such a major role to play in the global marine economy, as has been mentioned, fisheries, aquaculture, and together the seafood processing and seafood trade and industry overall, and the enormous role that China plays in the seafood industry through its fisheries, domestic and international, through its aquaculture, both freshwater but also marine, and moving further offshore. If we also then think about the scale of and level of leadership in the shipping industry, the maritime sector, exhibited by China with the number of companies, the number of vessels, the fleets, the amount of commerce and trade taking place through Chinese companies and on Chinese vessels. Supporting that, of course, is the shipbuilding industry, for which China is the leading shipbuilding nation and has been for many years now. Related to that maritime sector, of course, is the role of ports. And we, as we're all aware, the vast majority of the largest ports with the most throughput and capacity are in China, with the amount of trade that is moving in and out of the ports in China. And so along with that then is a major logistics sector that has grown and thrived through the growth in trade that is moving in and out of China. If we also consider a couple of other sectors, just as the context for thinking about blue economy and marine economy growth and development, there's also, of course, the cruise and coastal tourism industry, which has been expanding significantly in East Asia, and in which China has played a major part. And then if we think about the energy sector, with the growth in offshore renewable energy in particular, and in China there's tremendous development with offshore wind, and as mentioned by earlier speakers, the potential for offshore wave, tidal, and current energy. Cutting across all of these, as particularly emphasized by Mr. Smadja, is the role of technology. Technology and information and digitalization will be critical to, as he pointed out, and I'd like to reiterate, technology to develop these sectors, to improve their efficiency, to also contribute to addressing sustainability issues and social issues and governance issues. So data, the sharing of data, the use of data to create actionable intelligence will be critical to the growth of these industries. And again, here I'd really like to emphasize the role of China in evolving leadership in economic development to leadership in blue economic development that includes, again, these sustainability areas of environment, social, and governance as part of the overall economic development, the ESG part of things. And this really brings me then to the investment side. At the World Ocean Council, we are also, along with our role in bringing together all of the ocean industries across the sectors to provide and facilitate leadership and collaboration and action on sustainable development, we are also pulling together the investment community. These are the growing number of financial institutions that are becoming involved in the ocean economy. Most of them that are getting interested in the ocean are also interested in and concerned about the sustainability issues and responsible ocean development. And so we are working through the World Ocean Council Ocean Investment Platform to develop the structure, the process for the investment community to work together to really provide the driver, the engine for the growth in ocean economic activity that is responsible and addresses sustainable development concerns, the sustainable development goals, and ESG principles. Related to this, I think another area in which China can excel and provide evolving leadership is in the area of innovation. And this relates closely to technology, but innovation is not only and always about technology. There can be innovation in practices and procedures, in partnerships, in more the kind of the soft technologies, in management systems. So to think about innovation and the growing opportunities in the blue economy, and there are some great examples of accelerators, incubators, challenge competitions, startup hubs that are emerging around the world that really are contributing to understanding and addressing the kinds of sustainability opportunities that are emerging and challenges that are there. And so we're working to bring those different innovation initiatives together to help create collaboration and communication. So let me wrap up here a bit and summarize things a little bit with some thoughts on that, taking these opportunities that are in front of all of us in working towards a more sustainable blue economy and global marine economic system and global marine business ecosystem, to say that in China, I believe there's so much momentum, such a strong track record and history of growth and development of a variety of blue economy sectors, and we've touched upon a few of these here just now, but there are many more and many new and emerging sectors that we haven't gotten into here in detail. But to take that leadership and that growth and really focus on the responsible, sustainable aspects of the blue economy and provide global leadership in that evolution towards a sustainable blue economy. And we certainly here at the World Ocean Council are providing the global platform for the ocean business and investment community, and would welcome, continue to welcome the opportunity for companies and industry groups and investment entities in China to get involved in the global platform and organization that we provide at the World Ocean Council to work again towards this, as we started out by saying, multilateralism and integration of efforts that create collaboration to really move forward the blue economy and a sustainable marine economy for everyone. And lastly, I'd say that this event is a great example of developing that cooperation and sharing of experience and creating the interaction and collaboration, and that the city of Shenzhen should be congratulated and applauded for its role in facilitating and hosting that kind of leadership. And we at the World Ocean Council are certainly looking forward to developing our relationship further with Shenzhen, with the blue economy community, business and investment community of Shenzhen and China more broadly, as we all work together to evolve the blue economy, the sustainable blue economy in a post-COVID-19 world. So with that, I'll stop and thank you again for the opportunity to be a part of this amazing, important event and this very important panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul, for your inspiring comments on the evolving leadership that China may share with the rest of the world in building our global ecosystem, in which I believe all economies are increasingly interdependent. And thank you so much for briefing us and updating us about your concerns regarding the blue economy or marine economy. We'll have more to say on these and other aspects concerning the sustainability, vibrancy of ocean, which covers up to 71% of the globe. 接下来有请这个道达尔集团的中国主席赵伟良先生。
Now I'd like to give the floor to William Zhao, Chairman of Total China, and is one of the companies that entered Chinese market in the early phase. So, what's your opinion on the potential of the offshore energy exploration? And what kind of cooperation will help China to realize its goal in 2030 to realize the blue economy? Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank the organizing committee and the Guangdong government. It's been the first time that I have attended such an event. This question is very good, but maybe it will take me a few minutes to answer this question. It's quite long. First of all, I would like to share some anecdotes and stories. The first one is the relation between human beings and oceans. Actually, this story started 2,000 years ago. I hope I will just summarize this story in just 2 or 3 minutes. You can see that during the human beings' progress and development, Egypt, Greece, Rome, these 3 countries were located in the Mediterranean Sea. So you can see our human beings' development has close connection with oceans. And in the Ming Dynasty, China was advanced, maybe 100, 200 years advanced or ahead of other countries in the Ming Dynasty in terms of shipbuilding. And then UK, Norway, Spain, and Portugal also have some connection with the oceans, especially the Atlantic Ocean. In the end of 20th century or in the 21st century, we can see that the focus of the story have been shifted to Pacific Ocean, or the story center is in Asia or even in Shenzhen, because 3 decades ago, Shenzhen was totally different. When I was little, I once read a poem. It mentioned that the mystery of the tree does not lie in that the wood can be burned but float on the water, which also shows that human beings have close connection with the seas. So now we turn back to the energy story. This is the prominent energy company. I would like to mention its achievement. We are the first company that is below the deep water production in the 1980s. So now we still stay ahead. After 4 decades development, we are the first in Europe to start the floating wind farm development. And we also collaborated with other companies to work on the LNG and transfer LNG from the north to the south to China. So this is the achievement that Total has done. Now we can see we have collaborated with more than 130 countries in the past 100 years. And we also expanded our business scope. And we also have the exploration on the sea. So now every year, we transferred 4 million tons LNG to China on sea. So you can see we have a long story with blue seas. I really like this topic, centering on win-win and open cooperation. So in the past 4 decades, when we are operating our business in China, we got the benefits. We also benefit our customers. We further open the market and strengthen the cooperation with other parties with the supportive policies from the government, since we have seen more investment opportunities. So now I would like to mention our business, which is floating off-sea equipment. Why? Because this kind of device will have limited influence on our oceans. So even though it's the first time I've been to Shenzhen, I hope I will come back soon. I'm sure we will get more chances. Now I would like to share my view. So William is the chairman of Total China. So I think he has some characters. First of all, he's very good at telling stories. And then second, he cares about other guests and also smile to the moderator, me. And third, he can control the time, because we know that we cannot overstay the welcome. We must control the time. So he has the sense of time. Less is more. So he told stories, but he's concise in speeches. Just now you can see he just summarized the stories in the past 2,000 years within 2 or 3 minutes, integrating the development story of its own company. So he's a very good storyteller. In terms of energy, I have strong interest because it covers 71% of our planet. And it will be the important source for us for energy, for fresh water, because the salt water can be desalinated. That's the direction that the human beings should work for. We should find out the solution to cope with the water pollution, water shortage. So we must improve the water efficiency, which will be very critical and pressing topic for us. And then next, I would like to give the floor to Mr. Gao Shang, Chief Strategy Officer of CIMC Offshore Engineering. So we focus on how we can improve the energy efficiency and profitability so that we can reach the level of the highly developed companies or countries. Thank you, moderator. Good afternoon. Just now, the moderator asked me this discussion to talk about the situation in China. But before that, we need to consider the global perspective. We need to look at the global market. First of all, I would like to mention the global landscape of marine economy. Then we will turn back to China's situation. I would like to summarize as follows. First of all, we may have been impacted from 4 elements. First of all, it is information revolution, and also the geopolitics is also changing. And you all know that we have also impacted by the COVID-19. The cyclical activities have also been impacted. These 4 areas have influenced us with different extents. For example, the information revolution and energy revolution have profound impact on us because it speeds up the cycle. It also changes structures. Information revolution is extremely important because it has covered all sectors of marine economy. It also turned the blue seas to Red Sea. So you can see the trade war has become the focus in these areas. So information revolution is very important for the companies for survival. And the second, energy revolution has also brought disruption. So it has some connection with energy. Just now we talked about the global landscape of blue economy. Now I would like to turn the point to resource. So what kind of changes have taken place? First of all, traditionally speaking, the monopoly of oil and gas has also been changed. For example, the oil and gas can be replaced by other renewable energies. So these expectations may trigger a lot of other changes and input and investment. And some jobs may also be changed. So you can imagine what impact may be triggered or may be bring about. Once the market expectation has been changed rapidly, the investment will turn its sentiment or direction. So we may have to think about the question. So who are the latecomers? Just now our guest mentioned that we have the renewable energies, the new fishery resources, desalination, and the deep sea resources, etc. So we have got a question. In the emerging sector, have they completed their reshaping of the supply chain?
So can they fill the gap of oil and gas? I think it's going to take more time. Right now, the marine resources, and now we are experiencing the darkest time here, that the newly emerging players have not fully taken hold yet. Oil and gas has been in existence for hundreds of years. They are different kind of stakeholders. So what will be the new players that can take over? We have to wait and see. As to marine resources, we talked about the topic of marine resources, and the moderator asked a question about China in all of the marine-related sectors. Personally, I think, well, you can look at the marine engineering and construction. In this sector, I think China has unique advantages in marine engineering and construction, such as bridge building, island building, tunnels, port building. In all of these sectors, actually, China draws its strength from its advantages and experience on land. So China still enjoys very strong advantages in this regard, and also this sector is very promising as well. So in China, we have this initiative called Maritime Initiative. There are multiple marine projects going on. There are new marine resources and energy development programs and initiatives which create some demands for installation, and there are and also there's developments in the wind energy sector and other energy sector as well. So this, I think the marine engineering can be one of the blue oceans. If you want to identify future opportunities, you have to keep in mind that you have to focus on the land. You should not look at the ocean when you are amid the ocean. You should look at the ocean when you are on land, because humans live on land. All demand is generated on land. Oceans. Well, speaking of ocean, there's ocean shipping. Ocean developments were all because that the land couldn't fulfill some needs. For example, we have to ship some cargo across the world. And now we have offshore energy development. It is because the ocean has become an extension of the land, and now we have the ocean mining, and also maybe there are some bottlenecks on land, or maybe there's some imbalance of resources allocation or distribution on land. So that is why people turn their eyes to the ocean. Well, when looking for opportunities, you should start from the land. Even if you are looking for ocean-related opportunities, you should also start with the land. So people who work in the ocean industries, you need to have wild imagination. We talked about some examples. For example, electric cars. Electric cars have disrupted the diesel vehicles, and electric cars may disrupt themselves as well. Maybe in the future we don't have four wheels. Maybe the cars will have different shapes in the future. You need to think outside of the box, and you need to have good imagination to create the future. For example, we are now talking about satellite launch and 5G technologies and rocket technologies. You need to have imagination first before you can have innovative development. In a nutshell, ocean-related business and the ocean industry future, and I think they look good. Maybe it's the darkest time for us, but it can turn out to be the most promising time, because it is the time for you to look for a new race lane for your future. We hope to succeed. And we hope to develop strong companies in the ocean economy. We hope to identify the most popular economic opportunities in the ocean economy. A big hand for him. So before that, we have talked about some heavy-hearted questions and topics. Now, but however, for the ocean, we still lack knowledge about ocean. So we came here to learn from the experts and panelists, to listen to them. So China used to be a large country in terms of land development and resources, but now China is also gaining momentum in the ocean economy. And now we are talking about the global ecosystem and China's leadership, and also our efforts to create a win-win situation. And what does ecology mean to us? Well, we want to have high-quality marine economy development. We only have 25 minutes left. So you can choose what to talk about or what to focus on in the remaining time. So I would also like to ask a few follow-up questions as to marine engineering. So China has a long-standing tradition of building infrastructure building as well. So within a very short time, China can finish a large infrastructure project or oil drilling project or a large bridge or a large island. China is very capable of building something huge, a huge engineering project, whether in all seasons of the year, you can see that China-driven projects are being built across the world. And Costco's containers are seen everywhere in all parts of the world, in Greece or Sri Lanka or in Pakistan. Some ports are being built. And also Malacca Street, there's also some project going on, and also some oil and gas projects is also underway in Myanmar. We also have the land Silk Road in addition to the maritime Silk Road. We're talking about the renewable resources and liquidized natural gas. That provides millions of tons of liquefied natural gas, LNG, and we also have a lot of marine shipping and marine engineering projects. Climate change has led to the melting of the glaciers in North Pole, and also the waterway changes in some parts of China. So water resources may lead to wars as well. Water scarcity.
这三大话题构成了人类今后面临的很多。
So water scarcity, water shortage may lead to many social problems. Not just a small conflict between Armenia or Azerbaijan. It can evolve into a huge conflict. Imagine that the world is flooded by the melting glacier from the North Pole, and then maybe our resources will be compromised, and then there will be more competition for resources. And also, we talk about the fishing of whales, and there were incidents of whales committing suicide, and actually humans have done some wrongs to the nature. There are 4 panelists on stage. Can you talk about a topic that you are most interested in? Humans face many challenges and problems. Can you talk about your viewpoints from an optimistic or a viewpoint, or at least be cautiously optimistic when you talk about those challenges? Well, I have been working in Middle East for more than a decade. I also worked in some UN projects as well. In Middle East, for the desalination project, you don't have to use natural gas energy. We can use solar water desalination. it can be done. Shallow water desalination can be accomplished in Middle East. Many problems can be resolved, but it's not enough to have technology alone. You also need to have funding as well. Solar energy can do the steaming, and then you can also finish the desalination processes. Many problems can be resolved. So in Middle East, in Southeast Asia, it is not a problem of water. It is the problem with energy. I would like to ask a follow-up question. So I'm known for asking many questions. So small countries such as Israel in Middle East, how did Israel survive with a short water shortage? It also provides a lot of vegetables to EU. This is indeed a miracle. Why water utilization is very impressive in such a small country as Israel? What we can learn from the case of Israel. China doesn't care about the water utilization rate. I paid a visit to a Japanese diplomat's house. I saw that they were using a basin to collect the dripping water from the faucet. I can see that they were very serious about the water shortage. Well, I'm not going to tackle the political questions, but I would like to touch on this topic from the perspective of technology and energy. Total has business in all parts of the world, but in France we don't produce the natural gas, so that is why we have to have a global presence. For Israel's case, politics aside, well, it is they don't have a very peaceful environment, and I think that they have no choice but to make full utilization of their resources. They have the chip technology in Israel. They have a well-developed agriculture because they pay attention to details and technologies. Most of the water is steamed in agriculture. They use some technology to collect to process the water from the agriculture. 20% to 30% of the water is fully steamed and vaporized. But however, most of the water managed to be processed and collected. And I think that if environment forces you to survive, you will find a way to survive and make do with the limited resources that you have. According to the Bible, actually, I believe that some people draw strong strength from their religion, from their religious belief, which cannot be understood by some people. So in some dry area, such as Israel, they have the drip technology that managed to collect the water and retain the water. Mr. Wang, which topic are you most interested in? So we are talking about globalization. Water scarcity and water shortage will become more acute. And also underground pollution is very severe as well. There's some irreversible pollution. For example, 50% of the water may be polluted. How do we purify the water from the river and the waterways, and how can we utilize such water? So whether the governments have paid attention to this, because water is related to the livelihood and the livelihood of people. First of all, this topic has, I think you have changed the topic to ocean water to fresh water. Let me try to answer your question. Well, I mainly work in the ocean sector. Speaking of water, water is part of our daily life. Water as a resource touches on a few key areas: water resources, water safety, and water environment, and water ecology. These are the 4 factors, 4 topics. Now,
so actually, it's an ecological problem. Therefore, we must efficiently explore water resources and efficiently use water. This is very important. So water utilization efficiency is critical. And moreover, we also need to focus on the technology of desalination. But on the other hand, we must avoid the flood. So too much water, we will have flood. If the water is not enough, then we may have drought. Therefore, we need to ensure the safety for human beings. Just now, you have also mentioned the water pollution to our river or streams, etc. This is quite common in China. We have a raft of policies to improve the situation. So water does not emphasize the importance. It's important for human beings, for wildlife, etc. However, water also includes a lot of other elements in it, including different species. Therefore, we must protect water, but also consider the demand from other species. We need to strike the balance. We must conserve the energy, the resources, and also restore the ecosystem. As for MNR, we have a critical responsibility, that is, promote the harmony between nature and human progress. We must protect our mountains, our rivers, our seas, etc. From the fresh water to salt water, we can have the efficient and effective connection. If we pollute the water, then we may pollute and also undermine the wildlife and the marine creature. So we must utilize and protect the resources efficiently and effectively. Thank you for your summary. To be frank, while we are developing the blue economy, it's unavoidable that we may encounter some challenges. For example, fishing. Just now we've mentioned the aquaculture to replace the overfishing, but we also noticed that in recent years, the social media also exposed the overfishing or the dispute between Taiwan and Japan, between China and South Korea, and in South China Sea, China also have the dispute with the Philippines in terms of the fishing issues. So now China is a major marine economy. Shall China have realized its responsibility or leadership in this area to help to tackle the dispute? So do you have any thought in this problem? This question is critical, which also attracts the public attention, just as pointed out by you. It's not the responsibility of our ministry. We have the relevant responsibility that is responsible for this issue. But personally speaking, I can share my thought with you. In my knowledge, that it will not represent the government authorities. As for the fishery resources, I think all countries are facing similar challenges. We know that fish has close connection with the health of the ecosystem, the marine system. It's important. It's the feed for some species. So you can see it has a close link with other creatures and species. It's vital in this ecosystem. So the fish resources will be critical to the ecosystem. In China, we can see that we have been a big consumer of the fish resources. including the international trade, we also contribute a big share. Even though we have a lot of fish from the oceans, we also transported a big part of those fish to other countries and regions. So we have understood the problem. That's why we have started to work for the aquaculture to avoid overfishing. In the meantime, we also scale up the fish farms to produce more fish to meet the growing demand of the sea products. Previously, we heard a story that is that we will provide a subsidy to the farmers to work on the aquaculture so that we will lessen the pressure on our oceans. We can avoid overfishing. So now we have also established the nature reserve to protect the resources. We also signed agreements with other countries to protect the environment of our oceans. And now we can also see that the illegal fishing still exists. We can never avoid it, but we need to understand the problem and try to figure out the solution to mitigate the influence. We also need to raise the awareness of fish farmers to help them to understand the importance of our oceans so that they can also avoid overfishing. And we also need to continue to pay attention to this problem. We must adopt a responsible way for fishing. This is the direction that we have been working on, and we will continue to work on this policy. Thank you. So we've got a lot of information from Mr. Wang. Just now, I have raised a lot of questions. For example, the marine safety. For example, we need to crack down on the piracy. We need to protect the life of our marine creatures. Some of the species have on the brink of extinction. Therefore, during the fishing off-season, how we can crack down on the illegal fishing. So this is also the problem we should pay attention to. But because of time limits, we cannot share more thought on this.
With multiple challenges, okay? In what particular area do you think China would contribute more in forging partnership, in assuming our leadership, in building the Commonwealth and shares the co-prosperity?
Thank you for your question. As I mentioned, I think at the moment there are two very important areas. One is the whole issue of sustainability, and we have discussed that already into some great lengths. And it is an issue which is now becoming so crucial. I would say this is a very urgent priority issue, which has been aggravated by the COVID-19 pandemic. And so, and especially now also in many countries, because economic activity has been reduced, economic markets and supply chains have been disrupted, the risk of overfishing is more important than ever. And so I think this issue of sustainability is now becoming the #1 issue, not only with respect to the resources that the ocean can provide, but also because of a very tight connectivity between the deterioration of the situation of the ocean and the acceleration of the negative impact of climate change. So I think this issue of sustainability is really crucial, and I think China, as a major maritime power, as a major marine power, especially at the time when the United States is retreating from multilateralism has a very important potential role to play in pushing in this domain, especially given the fact that from the very beginning, China has been a very strong supporter of the Paris climate change agreement. So this issue, and again, I am delighted that all our friends here and also Paul, who is with us online, have been very insistent on this notion of sustainability. And linked to that, I think the issue of global ocean governance. Global ocean governance is lagging behind. The marine economy is moving like that, growing up, and by 2030 or even before, it will represent $3.5 trillion. This is gigantic. And China will have a major importance in this volume. But at the same time today, we see tremendous difficulties to agree on some very important elements in global ocean governance. So again, taking this role of China now as a major marine economy, what kind of very, I would say, practical, pragmatic steps, not big, but practical, pragmatic, to improve and accelerate the process toward a more efficient global ocean governance?
Thank you so much. You are talking about a very important issue of a global marine governance. It is something that is embarrassed, like in the case of a UN Security Council, where you only talk. You talk past each other instead of talking to each other. And therefore, the exercise of good governance has always embarrassed the whole world to a large degree. My next question goes to, in fact, we only have less than 5 minutes. I'm sorry for the time constraints. But Paul, with the melting, fast melting in the Antarctic region, 北极地区的冰川融化, hence we have the issue of shipping in disputes between countries, littoral countries, coastal countries that claim sovereignty, between, for example, Russia, the United States, and Norway. What opportunities and challenges are we facing when we look at the melting of the Antarctic, the shipping, maritime transportation, geopolitical disputes, and leadership that your organization can hopefully assume in tackling these challenges?
What I would like to really emphasize here is that the economic development is really, the engine for global society now, and the level of marine economy and the role of the marine economy in that global economic situation is growing and is essential in the sense of trade and shipping, as you're just mentioning. If we also think about communications, particularly telecommunications, and the role of submarine cables and internet, which allows us to be communicating right now from other sides of the world. And so these geopolitical issues are significant for the health of the economy and the health of the ocean itself, and as Mr. Smadja was also mentioning, it linked to the climate change that's affecting the ocean and the planet overall. So it's really essential that we as a society, that we work to address these changes to the planet, to the ocean, and the related geopolitical context in which that's occurring. And what I would really like to emphasize then is again, business leadership. But to be providing that business leadership for a global ecosystem like the ocean, and for a global business ecosystem like the marine economy, requires that the industries from across all the sectors and from across the entire world come together and work as a global business and investment community. And that's what we are working to provide at the World Ocean Council. And so creating a voice and an input from the business community into those changing conditions, and I know it's complex and sensitive to talk about these geopolitical issues that you raised in the question, but I would advocate for business, the ocean business community, to come together and really help promote stability and security and peace, because that is fundamental to business. And so the business community collectively, we need to come together and help work with governments to ensure that we've got the stable and secure operating environment for responsible business to thrive and provide the goods and services and products to society. And this drives taxes and income to governments. And so peace and security and cooperation in the marine environment are essential at a national level, at a regional level, and a global level. And so I would encourage companies to think about where they can work together as a sector, across sectors and across international boundaries. And certainly the World Ocean Council works to provide that platform and the value, the benefits of advocating for and developing that cooperation that supports peace and security and stability is good for business, it's good for society, it's good for government. So I think that really needs to be a part of the sort of the mindset and the commitment and the aspirations of the international global marine community. And we certainly at the World Ocean Council are working to help foster and facilitate that those connections and that interaction together on a global scale.
Thank you so much, Paul. 好了，时间差不多了。
It's about time. We talked about geo conflicts, but we are very concerned, we are cautious, but we don't want to touch on this topic a lot. But Paul mentioned that we need to seek common ground while preserving our differences, how we can create a community of shared destiny. Mr. Gao Shang, would you like to say a few words, say a few sentences to tell us what's your main takeaway from this event? Well, my main takeaway is that panelists, including the moderator, raised some questions that are hard to tackle, but we noticed the existence of such problems. That means that we may be able to identify some opportunities amid those problems. So if you have all of the answers, that means that our meeting is not really successful. We talk about these problems. They are not resolved yet, but this can be a starting point for us. So when the door closes, another door will open. Mr. Gao Shang talked about a movie called The Darkest Hour. That he didn't talk about another history incident, the retreat of Dunkirk. So the Englishmen, 300,000 British soldiers managed to retreat and have the Normandy victory. So I believe that amid crisis, there are opportunities. That is what we believe in our culture as well. Amid the despair, and we may be able to identify some hope. We may be able to find some hope. We should be optimistic about the future. So we have a few parallel events later. We have 3 breakout sessions about ocean energy and technology-related opportunities in this room. And also, there's another break session about marine pollution in Jinghou. There's a breakout session about deep sea development and technologies. You can choose the topic you like and go to the specific room for the breakout session. We wrap up this part. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
到时